you guys. So I was just talking about, let's see, what was I talking about? I was talking about living in New York and about 2011 when I got that award in Atlanta. And a few months before that award, my older brother passed away. So this poem is about me visiting Washington, D.C. To the hospital, and then I finished writing it. I started it in D.C. and then finished it for his memorial about a month after that. So it's called Elegy. And the book is actually in memory of my brother, Philip Calderwood, and also another, we were kids, so she was a girl who lived down the street from us named Despina Christofi. And I think maybe a few of her family might be here, but so these three kids who became adult published poets all grew up on this one little working class street within 2.5 blocks of each other. So it's kind of amazing. She passed away actually that same year. So anyway, this is for my brother. It's called Elegy for Philip Calderwood. At 10 a.m., I stole away from your bright white room, boarded the bus and the train, then exited past black umbrellas, the big obscene obelisk, and naked rain-soaked cherry trees. I walked down along the wall of the Vietnam Memorial, down into the earth to the year you were born. When we were 7 and 9, we pocketed our latchkeys and marched off to school with milk money in our shoes, slow enough to count every beware of dog, every tall kid punching the air, every newspaper and frost-covered lawn. So slow that sometimes the bell rang while we were walking, and then, brother, I must have looked at you with something like hate, for you let out a little wheeze, sat down on the curb, and I ran and ran till you were a small thing in the distance, a comma, bent and pausing for breath. And now look at me. All week I've been walking as slowly as I can to your bright white room, the machine breathing for you, slack bags of red and amber, tubes going in and taking away. I walk slowly to the cafeteria, slowly to the bathroom, slowly to the hotel. And I walk slowly this morning at 11 a.m. past 58,178 names, slowly to the year 1973, and they are too young, all of them. Brother, this is what I hated, knowing even at 7 that there was no time left, that I had to go the rest of the way without you. Thank you. Next, some tea. So I'm going to do one more childhood one, and then a few a little bit of kind of an uplift after that to send you home on in a good mood once you buy a book, get it signed, and drink some wine. I really was thirsty. That wasn't like a diva move. So this is I like to write in forms, as Kevin mentioned, and I know they're not to everyone's taste, which is why for me I love it, because the challenge for me is to use traditional forms, but to hide them. So usually when I write, especially a sonnet or something like that, I try to make it so that you wouldn't know it unless you were looking at it on the page and looking for the rhymes. So this is an example of that. It's a poem. The poem's called Abecedarius, and Abecedarius or Abecedarian is a form that was used in the Talmud and all kinds of places thousands of years ago, but it still is used occasionally. But it's basically A through Z, and every line starts with the next letter of the alphabet. So in English it would be 26 lines. So the challenge of writing it was that I wanted to write it without the audience knowing, but now you know, so kind of forget that I said anything. It's called Abecedarius. Already they have decided what he is. He is a boy, barely 12, but to them he is a cocksucker, a queer, a sissy. Denying it only draws attention. Each day they teach him a new word, faggot, absence of actual proof, these might be idle jokes. Maybe the children are just kidding when they tell him what his lisp means, that he wants to marry a boy. He learns never to use words that start or end with S. Plurals are out of the question. Things are singular or alone. He quits going outside at lunchtime. Kids throw rocks, scrawl words on his locker. So he goes to the room marked boys at 12 each day, pretends to urinate, then stays in a stall till the bell rings at 1. Vaguely, he remembers a time before, when he could be here without seeing X-rated drawings of himself on tiled walls. It was just a year ago. He would be here for a minute at the most, zip up his pants, then go back outside to play. Well, I told you I'd bring you up after that. Anyway, I just am very touched that you guys are here. So